Hello guys, this is Steno for All YouTube channel. Here we provide you Hindi or English shorthand dictations at different speed. Today I am going to provide you English dictation at this. Get ready for 160 word per minute shorthand dictation. Start. On August 15, Nepal Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli made a friendly gesture towards India by telephoning Prime Minister Narendra Modi to convey greetings on India's Independence Day. This should be welcomed. This was followed by a meeting of the India-Nepal Joint Project Monitoring Committee on August 17, chaired by the Indian Ambassador to Nepal and the Nepal Foreign Secretary. The committee was set up to review progress in the large number of bilateral cooperation projects. An India-Nepal Joint Commission meeting at the level of foreign ministers is due later in October but may be held virtually due to the novel coronavirus pandemic. But will the two sides hold foreign secretary level talks on the vexed boundary issue that is related to Kalapani and Susta? Unilateral actions. The Nepali side has upset the apple cart by taking a series of unilateral actions. A relatively minor dispute involving about 35 square kilometers of territory around the Kalapani Springs was expanded to claim large wedge of Indian territory towards the east measuring nearly 400 square kilometers. The expanded claim was incorporated into Nepal through a constitutional amendment and a revised official map. India has been confronted with a fate accomplished, though Nepal has conveyed its willingness to negotiate on the issue in foreign secretary level talks. India should be willing to engage in talks with Nepal on all aspects of India-Nepal relations, but any talks on the Kalapani issue should be limited to the area which was the original subject for negotiations and Susta. To agree to talks which include the unilateral changes will create a very bad precedent not only in India-Nepal relations but in managing India's borders in general. This is irrespective of Nepal presenting historical documents or maps which support its claims. Borders which have been accepted by both sides for more than 100 years and which have also been reflected on their official maps cannot be unilaterally altered by one side coming up with archival material which has surfaced in the meantime. This would make national boundaries unstable and shifting and create avoidable controversies between countries, as is the case now between India and Nepal. Geography and boundaries. The Treaty of Sugauli of 1816 sets the Kali River as the boundary between the two countries in the western sector. There was no map attached to the treaty. Nepal is now claiming that the main tributary of the Kalapani River rises east of the Lipu Lake Pass from the Limpiadhura ridgeline and hence should serve as the border. Even if the lengthiest tributary may be one principle for a river line boundary which is itself debatable, it is not the only one. There are many boundaries which do not follow any geographical principle at all, but are the result of historical circumstances, mutual agreement, and legal recognition. The fact is that once the British side carried out detailed surveys of the region, they consistently showed the India-Nepal border heading due north of Kalapani Springs to a few kilometers east of the Lipu Lake Pass. This alignment never changed in subsequent years and was also reflected in Nepali official maps. This is just a fact. It has been argued that it was the East India Company and successor governments which engaged in cartographic chicanery to shift the source of the Kali River towards the east. What prevented successive Nepali governments to reject such chicanery and assert the Nepali claim? There is no record of such a claim being raised at any point, including when the company was in generous mood, having received Nepali help in putting down the 1857 Indian War of Independence. In 1969, the then Prime Minister of Nepal, Kirtinidhi Bist, demanded that India military personnel manning 17 villages along the Nepal-Tibet border since the early 1950s be withdrawn. Here is the National Panchayat record of Bist's statement. The minister informed that the checkposts manned by the Indian nationals exist in 17 villages: Gumsha, Mustang, Namche Bazar, Lamabagar, Kodri, Thula, Thumshe, Thulo, Olanchung, Dola, Mugu, Simikot, Tinker, Shipua, Jhumshung, Pushu, Basua, and Salubesh. If Lipu Lake and Kalapani were on Nepali territory, then why were they omitted from the list? I have pointed out earlier that the argument that the omission was due to Nepali magnanimity taking into account India's security concerns vis-a-vis China is laughable. The withdrawal of Indian military personnel from the Nepal-Tibet border was precisely to win brownies points with China. The inconvenient fact is that the Chinese, at least since 1954, have accepted Lipu Lake Pass as being in Indian territory. In the Nepal-China Boundary Agreement of 1960, the starting point of the boundary is clearly designated at a point just west of the Tinker Pass. History and ties in a recent article, The Hindu editorial page, August 19, 2020, Nepali journalist Kanak Mani Dikshit advised Indians must try and understand why Nepal does not have an
Dictation has
Independence Day.
completed. I
The
hope you will
implication.
like this dictation.